Welcome back to the channel, guys, and thanks for joining me in the A-Team movie from 2010. And I'll tell you why I chose to do this movie in a bit. But first, we are in Mexico as we see these two guys beating up a guy and try to kill the American in the chair. So no bullets, and walk away with the American's money, and since they were fake cops, and here comes the dogs and a pin to unlock the cuffs. So we meet this guy in the chair, and he's actually Colonel John Hannibal Smith, played by Liam Neeson. And you have seen the TV show. George Peppard plays Hannibal Smith, but he died pretty early, so. And somewhere else in Mexico, seeing the sports car speed away from the Mexican police, and now we meet B.A. Baracus, played by Quinton Rampage Jackson of the UFC. Again, if you've seen the TV show, he is played by Mr. T, or Clubber Lang from Rocky 3, and Rampage has been trending right now online in the last month.
Where's my girl, fool?
Which you probably all know. So now you know why I chose the movie for the walkthrough, and Baracus is here for his girl, asking the chop shop owner, played by Omari Hardwick. And now for a beatdown, since he's Rampage Jackson finally sees his girl. And it's a car. Yep, just like Mr. T in the TV show. Now in the middle of the desert, as we see some sacrificing happening with this Mexican mogul here, as we now meet Templeton Peck, played by Bradley Cooper, whereas Dirk Benedict played Peck in the TV show. And Templeton Peck actually f***ed this Mexican mogul's wife. Damn. Instead, punched trapped by these tires, and comes running John Hannibal Smith, as Liam Neeson is wearing a wig here to make himself appear more like George Peppard's version of Hannibal Smith. And Hannibal actually stops the van driven by Baracus and points the gun at him to give up the van. And shoots him in the right arm. And gets in the car, notices Baracus' war tattoo as Hannibal shows off his, and greet each other. And Hannibal tells Baracus he has to save his colleague and drive off. And the Mexican mogul starts counting the American money. He sees a sticker signal in one of the bills. And here comes out Hannibal, and I'm not talking about Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs, and neither the TV show, okay? So the two rescue Templeton Peck and drive off after shooting at Tuco, the Mexican mogul, or the Mexican general, and his guys. And even throws up. So back in Baracus' van, Peck still kisses Tuco's wife. How'd she end up here? And Hannibal tells Peck he shouldn't have done this alone, and now greets B.A. Baracus after seeing his service tattoo. So we have made it at this small town hospital, and Hannibal grabs a helicopter from this guy, and Baracus has no choice but to leave his girl here, the van. But they're really here to find the fourth and final member of the A-Team, and here he comes posing as a doctor, and his name is Captain Howling Mad Murdoch, played by Charlton Copley.
Highly decorated combat pilot.
Whereas in the original TV show, he is played by Dwight Schultz. And all these guys are still alive except for George Peppard, who died at the age of 65. And a flashback of him jump-starting an ambulance as well, and is here to stitch Baracus' gunshot wound. So Murdoch is in the mental clinic, and here comes trouble.
At Johns Hopkins University.
You asking me to do lightning bolt? That's no lightning bolt. What's that?
Are you crazy?
As Baracus is pissed off at Murdoch, Hannibal Smith says he's recruited him because of his helicopter skills and breaks up the fight. And he is crazy. The nurse wasn't wrong. Murdoch. I have seen a few episodes of the A-Team TV show. A lot of them are very long, some of them more than 90 minutes. It's like equivalent to a movie, each episode. Obviously, based on the TV series of the same name. And they escape in the hospital helicopter while the Mexican soldiers are shooting. And also this. And Baracus' van has been crushed, and now a chopper chase with Murdoch flying it as Baracus almost falls out. And if you've seen the TV show, Mr. T was scared of flying, and Rampage Jackson is doing exactly that as Peck pulls him back in. And there it goes, Tuco getting blown up by his own fighter jet, flown by his own guys. And Liam Neeson acts like he's George Peppard's version of John Hannibal Smith with a cigar. And directed by Joe Carnahan. So 8 years later in this air base in Iraq, as Murdoch is cooking steaks and see Baracus and Peck relaxing, and now they got visitors coming, with one of them being Lieutenant Sosa, played by Jessica Biel, and tells Peck to call her captain. And Murdoch using a sock puppet on Baracus, and of course, Sosa is Peck's ex-girlfriend. No surprise there, and asks her if she took his music CD, and she's not answering that. So Colonel John Hannibal Smith greets the Iraqi soldiers. This guy named Lynch of the CIA, played by Patrick Wilson, comes up, and Hannibal Smith knows of a Lynch from a previous job who's also in the CIA, but sounds like he's never seen him. Hannibal Smith has never seen Lynch.
I know a company man named Lynch back in the first Desert Storm.
Yeah, I come from a long line of Lynches.
But has heard of him, and now wants a job done by Hannibal to prevent $1 billion being stolen in the next 30 hours. And Hannibal says that $30 billion was already retrieved back, but the one thing that's missing are the engraving armored plates, which is the center of this movie. And to avoid more American money being printed in Iraq, those plates have to be taken back. And with Hannibal, with the cigar in his mouth as always, tries to think of a plan. But Sosa says the opposite, that Hannibal Smith shouldn't bother getting those plates back since she would get in trouble. So great leadership skills you got there, and she walks off with these two soldiers telling them to keep an eye on the A-team. So meanwhile, Hannibal Smith speaks to General Russell Morrison, played by Gerald McRaney, about this armored plates retrieval mentioned by CIA agent Lynch, as Hannibal says he has to be in Baghdad to get those plates back, since a Brock Pyle is there with his troops watching Baghdad, letting nobody in. And again with this remark,
You know, I knew another Lynch, CIA student.
No relation.
Are you sure? Because you remind me of him.
So Lynch's identity being questioned again, even Hannibal pointed that out, and notices Lynch wearing body armor and has to run off since he's uncomfortable now. And Sosa watching Lynch closely since she probably knows that Lynch is not the real one, and a lot of awareness, which is good. So meanwhile, Hannibal is having a nostalgic moment of him with General Morrison in the early days as Morrison begs Hannibal to let the armored plates mission in Baghdad go. It's not worth dying for. So Hannibal is not going to give up and tells Baracus that the four of them will be staying a little longer in Baghdad, and now meet Brock Pyle himself, the one preventing anyone coming, the one watching Baghdad, played by Brian Bloom of the Black Force Division, and knows Hannibal Smith wants to enter Baghdad for those armored plates.
What you guys make in a year? Cash don't buy guts, kid. More brains.
So inside this radar and map room, as the four discuss getting those armored plates back privately, while Peck is still thinking about Sosa. Like I said, Baracus hates flying and tells Murdoch that carefully, and Hannibal Smith now outlines a plan for the guys and are easily impressed. And now the four steal equipment they need for the job from the Black Forest officials. Murdoch and Peck will be doing that and see some funny stuff.
What would you give for one chance to come back?
And Morrison looks like he's okay with this job now since they are celebrating with drinks. Meanwhile, Sosa, as Hannibal Smith outlines the plan for the armored plates mission with already rehearsed scenes, but it's really the real plan happening right now. So all this sounds easy, except Peck thinking how they will get out of Baghdad, as Baracus has to hang right and keep driving. As Baracus is trapped inside his crate and is screaming wanting to get out, Peck and Hannibal Smith are figuring out who will let them out. And now Morrison calls him that he's got a bottle of alcohol waiting for the A-team to celebrate with, and now open the crate.
Boss, is that Bosco?
So of course Baracus was unconscious and of course hates flying, but the crate is full of cash. And both General Morrison's quarters blows up, along with the retrieved crate full of cash. I think it's the same 30 billion that what's-his-face was mentioning earlier, I forget his name. I thought Hannibal Smith that was already retrieved, but you know.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Sosa catches the A-team being kicked out of the army, starting with Colonel John Hannibal Smith being demoted since there was never any order by General Morrison of recovering those armored plates since it was done in private. And see shots of General Morrison's headstone, and Hannibal wants to be the only one sent to jail, while the other three should avoid jail. Okay, and yeah, Morrison is dead.
Guilty verdicts for each member of this Alpha unit, or A-team, and mandate.
And now you know what the A-team stands for. And they get their stars ripped off from their shoulders and have been sent to jail. Well, at least John Hannibal Smith, since the others are sent somewhere else, as 6 months goes by at this prison in Fort Carson, Colorado. And CIA agent Lynch is back to talk to Hannibal. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention during the trial was the Black Force troops and Brock Pike, who stole the armored plates and put the blame on the A-team, since Hannibal knows where Brock Pike is.
And I know where he is. Nobody knows where he is.
So Lynch brought some pictures taken from Frankfurt, Germany, where Brock Pike was last seen, and also spot an Arab buyer shot in the pictures for those plates. So the Arab wants to buy the plates. So Hannibal wants out, as Lynch can't get him out legally, as Hannibal wants a custom cigar written on the sticky note. And this cigar is to be smoked like Hannibal usually does, since this cigar is special, so that he can get out of prison, as you see here.
So, Satan walks into this bar.
So that worked. Now with Peck, since he's locked up at prison in Florida, and also this.
Could have hid those.
Why would I want to do that?
So he goes inside the tanning porta potty. But meanwhile, Sosa is told by director McCready, played by Henry Czerny, tells her that Hannibal escaped and she will get those armor plates back. And Hannibal Smith locks up Peck to bring the porta potty out. Meanwhile, Sosa and the soldier are looking at ripped out pages from the visit logbook, cigar traces, and blurry camera footage from Fort Carson. So Hannibal tells Peck that Lynch of the CIA, the same guy we've been seeing setting them up, including Brock Pyle, as Peck knows where Baracus is, but being transported in this prison bus in California. And we see Baracus with longer hair and spots a truck next to him. So just like the TV show in the first episode when George Peppard breaks out Mr. T from the TV show, pretty similar to that if you've seen the TV show. So Sosa knows Peck and Baracus have escaped, which only leaving Murdoch located in a mental clinic in Germany. How ironic. So Baracus thinking about cutting his hair back to the mohawk, as he also tells Hannibal and Peck that he's given up fighting and violence. I don't think Rampage Jackson would give up fighting. Retiring, sure, maybe, but violence, no. So Baracus is desperate to know where Murdoch, as we see him here in Mannheim, Germany. And he gets a package from Annabelle Smith. Hilarious. And the other mental guys are excited to see it's a movie, and they all want to watch it. That's inside the package. And Sosa is back and goes in to find Murdoch as he pretends to be high and insane, and the movie's not playing.
Do let me know how it ends.
Chris, where are you headed? Hey, stay beautiful, baby.
So a literal 3D movie with the Great Escape movie parody title from the 60s, while the theme of the A-Team TV show playing. That's clever. So as usual, the team have to fly, and Baracus is scared and is even crawling on the ground. And Hannibal takes a plane from the soldiers, and Baracus, desperate, wanting to be knocked out during the plane ride. And Sosa's back, and the A-Team left off. And fighter jets are chasing them down, and Mission Control notices that the plane with the A-Team has also blown up, thinking they're all dead, but Sosa doesn't think so, since the A-Team are safe and sound inside this tank that was already on the plane, the cargo plane. And Peck uses the hatch of the tank to use the tank's gun, and Baracus is shitting himself, literally. And Peck has shot some jets down, and Sosa is smart to know that the A-Team are trying to fly from the tank. And half the movie's done as Hannibal yelling out, rotating the tank, and now for the end of the scene, with this German couple enjoying the lake. So now at the CIA office of Frankfurt, Germany, and we see Agent Lynch again, as the other agents bring up that Hannibal Smith and his team were seen in Mannheim, Germany, shot down a tank. And now the tank is now on the move, as the A-team head to Berlin first, as Sosa heads to the U.S. European Command and now has clear view of the prison footage when Hannibal had a visitor. And she notices it's the same guy from Baghdad when she was watching from her binoculars from the beginning of the movie, and now Agent Lynch gets a call from Lieutenant Sosa, and he...
Lynch? I'm sorry, I don't have a first name.
Neither do I.
Did you visit former Colonel...
Lynch doesn't have a first name. And she questions him why he visited former Colonel John Hannibal Smith in the Fort Carson prison, and she thinks he helped Hannibal Smith escape. So the call is done, and Lynch wants everything on Sosa.
You realize she's DOD. I don't care if she's GOD. Do it.
So Sosa now gets the same picture Lynch showed Hannibal in Fort Carson of Brock Pike and the Arab again, who have a lot to do with the armored plates at the Koningsbank Tower, as Hannibal explains the same to the team. And Hannibal tells Peck to get back Sosa for his mission, since Lynch knows she also wants the plates, as Lynch will try to kill her. And this is where Peck comes in to avoid Sosa getting killed, since Lynch's guys are already here, brings her into this photo booth and handcuffs her there, tells her it wasn't the A-team's fault for killing Morrison and blowing up the money, and almost kisses her. All she has to do is hold on to her phone, and also this. So meanwhile, at the Koningsbank Tower in Frankfurt, Germany, we see Pike again, as well the infamous Arab, and see all the armored plates all packed up in this briefcase. And Barack is posing as a window cleaner, launching a grenade from across, and Hannibal here throws Arab guy down for Murdoch to catch from the chopper. Baracus tries to get to the plates. Pike here shoots at Baracus and falls down, and grabs a briefcase full of the plates, since the Arab guy had in his hands. And Pike wants Baracus to hit him back, since he's doing all the hitting.
Whoopsie.
So Hannibal and Baracus escape, and here comes Sosa and the German police to arrest Pike. So now the A-team are alone with the infamous Arab in this warehouse, and Hannibal knows who the Arab is all along, since the others don't know yet. And here is the reveal.
We all do.
Yeah, so General Russell Morrison planned all this with Black Forest, Pike, and Lynch, and faked his killing. So Hannibal calls Lynch again that he knew the Arab was Morrison all along, just wasn't sure. So Lynch just wants the plates, but first Hannibal needs amnesty agreements for the A-teams. Then Lynch can get the plates. Okay? And what do you know?
Give me 5 minutes.
And back with Morrison, as Hannibal is very angry at him since he saw his tombstone and wants Morrison to tell the truth that the A-team is innocent, but Morrison says that's useless because, obviously they'll go back to jail no matter what. And here comes trouble, probably the plane sent by Lynch, and kills Morrison for real this time. If you remember the laptop in Lynch's car.
Wow. That's awesome. It looks exactly like Call of Duty, doesn't it?
Now at the embassy of the USA, as Sosa interrogating Pike, and here comes Lynch, picking up Pike since you already know they're working together, fooling Sosa. So back with the A-team, Hannibal suspecting Lynch blew up Morrison, and now Peck needs 20 minutes to come up with a plan. Lynch is now driving off with Pike and is pissed that him and Morrison would run off with the plates, leaving Lynch out of it, and is going to kill Pike. And on the speedboat, as Hannibal calls up Sosa again with a fake story that Morrison is alive, and with the A-team making sure Lynch is also listening, and it worked, as the A-team will now meet with Sosa in Los Angeles at the docks in 48 hours. And remember when Peck said, hold on to that phone?
Please us. Surprise Lynch. Uh-oh.
So ready to get back to California, as the A-team all pose undercover. Even Liam Neeson took off his George Peppard wig. Barack is posing as an African tourist, and Murdoch posing as a rabbi, and have mixed up their passports.
Habari gani ndugu?
Nzuri sana.
Shalom.
And got fooled again for a boat, and now on the plane as Baracus wakes up for food. And now Peck comes up with a master plan with the team getting ready. And back with Baracus reading quotes about violence and Peck feeling unconfident right now since Hannibal comes up with all the plans. So back in Los Angeles, California at the port, looking like GTA 5 right now, if you played GTA 5. The speedboat that was shown earlier in the scene looks very similar to a mission the trio did in that game. And Lynch is there too with his guys and have spotted Hannibal as he overhears a call from Sosa again with Hannibal as she asks for the A-team to turn themselves in, and Lynch believed it, but this fake phone call is all part of the plan. And Lynch spotting the fake General Morrison as Peck's plan worked by having these crate containers for division, diversion, and distraction, and now a full-blown scene of Lynch and Pike against the A-team. So with Pike blowing up the A-team's plan with the boat that was supposed to be used for cover, after all that shooting and blowing up, Pike has caught Peck, and Baracus is back to his violent ways since he's Rampage Jackson in real life. And Lynch following the whisper of his name called by Hannibal Smith and moves Hannibal out of his way and has shot the fake Morrison and has grabbed the plates and also this.
The batter.
Hannibal, don't do this.
Lynch, no! That cake don't bake. Uh-oh, your witness, your gun.
So the fake Morrison is alive and back to division, diversion, and distraction as Lynch sees the guy he just shot is alive. And the container has been lifted off from the ground, and it's the U.S. military with Lieutenant Sosa, and she calls Lynch here Agent Vance Buress, his real name. So Lynch is actually somebody else, as Hannibal pointed out, and even Morrison's fake pointing out of Lynch. And the fake Morrison has been revealed by Baracus and was Murdoch the entire time with a bulletproof vest.
What's the difference between a concussion?
So with Peck giving Sosa a lovely look and Murdoch not liking this plan since he knows he is much more normal than being not normal, and Baracus is being back to normal himself. And now in the final minutes of the movie, as we now meet the agent who is the real deal, played by Don Draper, John Hamm, here to arrest Agent Vance Buress after talking to Sosa and apologizes to the A-team.
I never got your name.
My name is Lynch.
So a crappy apology, and he is the real Agent Lynch. And here comes trouble again for the A-team as Director McCready still has to take in the A-team back to prison and takes those armored plates back. Sosa kissing Peck, and she will fix this, and the A-team have another plan to escape. And right before the credits, the A-team have escaped, and this is part of their commercial if you want to hire the A-team.
The A-team.
And that's the end of the A-team. Nice movie, it's not bad. I don't know why they even make two versions of the same movie. The one I just showed you is on Disney Plus, and I'll see you next time in The Heat of the Night from 1967. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Take care, see you soon, and watch away. Check out the A-team, but most importantly, check out the TV show from the 80s. Take care.
How do you protect the face? Yeah, you don't mess with it, kid.
This guy Murdoch is nuts. I wonder if he's...